Welcome back to our Personality Conflict Series. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. For this month's video series, we're talking a little bit about some different personality types and maybe some communication tips on how you can more effectively communicate with people who maybe think just a little bit different from you. So let's jump right in. Last time we talked about the rooster, and that perspective is a huge thing for how we choose to communicate with other people. We have our preferences for how we like to do things. And of course, that perspective we bring to every situation, the things we've been through and dealt with. Maybe somebody's hurt our feelings already. And so how we approach it is going to definitely be affected by how we're coming at it from that perspective. So just as a little reminder, you can see in the middle of this page, we've got a little graphic with a very old optical illusion. And so when you look at this, there's two very distinctive things in this picture. When I look, the first thing I always see is a person like in the big parka with the fur around it and stuff, like they're kind of walking into maybe a cave or a dark doorway. But if you kind of flip it, tilt your head a little, squint your eyes, look from the other side, you'll see like a totem. So it looks like the head maybe on like what you would see on a totem pole or a statue. So this is one of those things that different people will see different things, and they'll see the different one first. And some people never see them both. They don't get past the one thing that they already see. And that's a great analogy when we talk about how we communicate. Sometimes it's hard for us to get past our own perspective, what we see and what we believe, to see it from somebody else's angle. And that's where understanding and talking about personality types. I also mentioned last time, there's all types of assessments and testing and things you can do to get in-depth personality training and review and how you fit and what your preferences are, and maybe what career fields you should go into. It'll tell you wherever you fall for the preferences. Most of these skills that we talk about for communication can be taught. They're things that can be learned. We can learn how to get along with others and have positive communication within our families, within the groups and organizations we work with. We just have to open our mind a little to be understanding of other people. So today we're going to move from the rooster to the raccoon. So when we talk about the raccoon, what are we thinking? Well, raccoons are our risk takers. They're outgoing, they're fun-loving, they motivate others because they're excited about what's going on. They're our networkers. They know everybody. Everybody knows who they are. They like to develop people and work with people, and they want to see you succeed and thrive in what you're doing. Because they are so excited about what's going on, they can sometimes be easily sidetracked away from that ultimate goal because there's so much going on and they're so excited and they're so optimistic about everything that's going on around them. Raccoons tend to be very visionary. They end up a lot of times in a leadership role because, again, they're outgoing, they're fun-loving, everybody likes them, but they usually have a vision, a great vision. They're going to need to bring in some of those detail people because they're really not detail people. So to achieve that vision, they may need some help in following those steps. And they may sometimes be forgetful because they do have so much going on. They're not a lot of times going to sit down and make a list or make notes on what they need to go back and handle. They're going to keep a lot of that in their head. And so it's easy for that to kind of get overridden and just forget things. But they're very talkative. So usually you kind of know where they are and what they're thinking because they're telling you and in that. And because they do, that's kind of their personality. They make friends easily. They know who you are. They want to support you and work with you, but they may not can get your name out right then. Even though it's kind of on the tip of their tongue, they've got so much going on in there that it may not come out exactly right. So again, just as we mentioned with the rooster, we want to look at things and go, oh, well, that's just negative and that's the bad things and things we don't want to think about. When we reframe it to start thinking about, there's some really positive things to working with someone who has this raccoon personality type. Over my tenure in the positions I've held in youth development, most of your teenagers are going to fall into this category. Now they're going to have probably at their core, they've got these values and preferences that fall into some of the other categories. But just for where they are in that growing and the maturing part of being a teenager, they're going to fall into a lot of this. Think about the risk taking, the wanting to be with others, wanting to network and be around other people and make a lot of friends, and being forgetful about what's going on. They may just fall into this. And so some of them outgrow it. Some people never do. And again, we need to remember to see the blessings in that, because they make things fun. They make things exciting, and they keep your group moving forward. Okay. So just a quick reminder, when you look at things going on around, the literary things that go on around us, or the artistic things in the world, the books you read, the movies you watch, television shows, most of those things are going to focus back on a core group that's going to have 4, maybe a few more, maybe of one main person, but then they're surrounded by the friends or the family members who are going to exhibit things from these different personality types. That just goes to show you, and it's a great reminder of entertainment imitating life, to show us that we need these different personality types to be together, to work together, to create a dynamic and have that be a positive thing. So, of course, the raccoon you're going to see in those shows is they're going to be the fun one. They're going to be the outgoing one. They're going to be probably in some ways driving the other characters crazy. So how do you communicate with a raccoon? And right now you've thought of a handful of people that fit into this category. Maybe you're one of them, maybe you're not. But how do you wrangle a bunch of raccoons, or 1 or 2? Because 1 or 2 can seem like a lot, because they're outgoing and talkative and they're busy and into everything. So when we get ready to communicate with someone who falls into this category, first of all, you need to talk, not just listen. It's really easy to just sit back and let them go. But if you really want to have communication, is a two-way thing. And so you want to be able to talk and interact with them. That's what they're looking for, is interaction. So if you are assigning projects, or you're the one in charge of that committee or that group, you're going to want to give them a function and a job that involves teamwork. Somehow they can work together and be part of something with someone else. But you're also probably going to need to check in on the details, because as we said, they're visionary. They're already looking 10 steps out. They just don't really see what those steps are in between. So you're going to need to check in on some of those details to make sure that everyone feels successful at the end. And then provide feedback. They need to know, how did that go? How did that work? That's how they learn. Again, they're growing, they're maturing if we're talking about a teenager, but even as adults, sometimes we're growing and maturing too. Show interest in what they're doing. They want to know that you're interested in what they have going on, and not just correcting them or giving them some other task or job that you think they need to be doing. And then it's important when we talk about raccoons, be aware of those verbal attacks, because it's easy. They do have so much going on. They're so excited. They may tend to overcommit, which again, checking in on the details can be very helpful in keeping that from happening. But so they might get overwhelmed. And if they feel like they're being pressured, then they could snap at you. And that initial reaction a lot of times is to just snap back. So being aware that those verbal attacks can happen, can be in there, and something that could cause a conflict or an issue, is an important piece of maintaining that positive communication. So that sums up. We've talked about the rooster. We've talked about the raccoon. We've got 2 more to go. So I hope you'll come back here next time. Until then, you can log on to our website, curryextension.nmsu.edu. If you click on Family Health and Wellness, then you'll have the opportunity to sign up for our newsletter. You can request hard copy or email, or you can submit a question for our extension staff. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, and this has been Personality Conflicts number 2, the raccoon. I will see you here next time.